the money for the Murder Harvard projects coming from?
At the moment, a very traditional source, National Endowment for the Humanities, which has a new digital media initiative that they're looking for pilot and new ideas. So it's a pilot project, yeah. And they had funded the original film, so.
Jim, do you want to introduce yourself real quickly, since we already went around and did introductions?
Sure. Hi, I'm Jim Flynn. I'm the CEO of a company called Easy Pigs, and we're a movie download service.
Just to pick up on the NEH, I know is really into digital media initiatives now, and it seems to me they don't really want to consider anything anymore unless it has that component. They're really trying to drive things in that direction. So people really have to start embracing this.
You know, we talked about monetization. There's one very, very easy place to start, and that's Google Ads. You know, every once in a while I get a check for $100 or $200 just for my own blog, which, you know, doesn't.
Sure.
I can say I've kind of monetized these little 2 and 3 minute films I've made is one way to look at it. And the more traffic you drive to your site, you know, the more ad revenue you get. And the thing about Google Ads is they're contextual. So, like for example, when you go to my blog, there's a lot of ads for the Panasonic HVX200 because I've done a lot of blog posts on that camera. So they're actually useful and they're contextual and they're very subtle. You can put them off to the side. They don't blink, they don't flash, they don't put up pop-ups. And the more traffic you drive to your site, that's one revenue stream. And I think what filmmakers need to think about is it's not about monetizing one thing, but it's about thinking of this thing as a platform where there's different ways to monetize different aspects of your work.
Yeah.
You know, like at DIY Days, Laura Teodosio was talking about her short film that she actually got several festivals actually paid her a screening fee, for example. And that's just one revenue stream. You know, DVD sales, that's another revenue stream. Ad revenue online is yet another revenue stream. Download for pay is another revenue stream. To kind of think of it as a sort of portfolio approach where any one method of monetization isn't going to be a lot of money, but they start to add up. And it's also cumulative over time. Because I think something that came out of the DIY Days conference here in Boston recently was that filmmakers need to start thinking about building a relationship with their audience over time. This is not like as you were saying, Scott, it's not this one-shot thing. I submit film to festivals, I get awards, I make a lot of money selling DVD. It's like, okay, it's not this one-time thing anymore. It's like, okay, I'm going to build a relationship over time with an audience, and this relationship over time, if I'm doing something that resonates with the audience, I'm going to start to build up some kind of revenue.
And I would add to that it's not, it's great to have those multiple business models, but I also think you need to think about having multiple products to fit each of those business models. So, in a way, you can think about having you maybe have 10 little segments from your movie that work really well as like 3 or 4 minute standalone, just a really interesting bit of an interview or kind of a you are there piece of a travelogue. And those are great things to monetize by having like a little ad that's shown before the video or after the video. And then maybe you have like this super ultra long director's cut version that sells on a DVD for $50, and you have the traditional theatrical version or the TV version. You have the download version that you sell on Easy Takes. And then the other thing I wanted to mention that came up at some of these ITVS Paley Center events was, people worried about what's going to happen to the educational market and all those wonderful people that paid $250 or $300 for a DVD. And one thought was, if you have all of this footage that you've produced that's much more than just a movie, and you were willing to allow an educational institution to say, I'm going to use some edit-it-yourself tool like, an iSpot type tool or Jump Cut, I forget which one is still in business, but to go online and say, all right, I'm going to pick the 30 minutes of footage that I want to show in my class and sell me that as a download or sell me that as a DVD, and maybe I'll keep paying a premium price if I can sort of edit this movie specifically for my class rather than just buying the DVD and having to like click around to all the different chapters that you wanna use.
Are
And
you
I
doing
think
that?
they want that. From the meeting I was just at, the customers are saying they do want that availability. But the pushback is that they still want a hard copy. The digital is, they're archivists.
Yeah.
So if they don't have a hard copy of a film, video, and they just have a digital file, that it's not floating for them.
I wonder
Yeah.
how long that's gonna be true.
Yeah, really.
Right.
That feels like a transitional moment rather
Right.
than a longer-term business plan.
Right.
I think for us, one of the reasons why we've stayed in business for 40 years is that we've done pretty much all of those things we've been talking about. We have a huge portfolio of over 900 titles. And for many of our filmmakers, they are producing a number of versions. They're producing their 90-minute plus festival version. They're producing their 60-minute broadcast version. And then we're offering the DVD with all the extras for the educational market. Then we've got our streaming, low-cost streaming for direct-to-consumer sales. And and also looking to develop new products too. And I think for us that iTunes University site where we're actually developing this parallel. We have our DER site where we're still selling products directly off that site. And this opportunity to set up this iTunes University site encouraged us to work more directly with our filmmakers, offering the opportunity to create such things as we have a section called Stories from the Field, where they can start when they have a film in production that we're working with them on finding funding for. They're putting up these little war stories. And we're hoping to encourage more and more of our filmmakers to take advantage of that as they move through their production, which then in turn helps to build that audience. It also is like an educational tool for other filmmakers. Look, this is what happened to me, when I was out shooting so-and-so, or I had this horrific experience on this interview, and it can be anything, and we're hoping that it stimulates their creativity and again helps them to build an audience when they, over that course of 2, 3, sometimes 4 or 5 years that they're working on these projects, trying to get them done. So.
And what's the monetization of that?
Well, I actually, I had a lot of resistance even internally from my own staff when Apple offered us this opportunity, to create free content for them for their iTunes U site, and my staff is saying, "Why are we doing this? We're not getting any. They're not paying us to do that."
Yeah.
But I really saw it as a way to elevate our visibility to a whole other group of people, those iPod cell phone people. To repurpose a lot of our stuff we're already offering free on our own website and put it in this different arena. And while iTunes U doesn't allow you to sell anything directly off your iTunes U site, you can have all kinds of links linked back. So we tell our filmmakers, you give us a little short story, we'll link it back directly to our donor page for your film, to your website, and it's just another way to drive traffic all over the place. And we've, and then iTunes also provides us with a lot of statistical stuff that makes it very interesting to see who our new users are, how are they using the material, and so it's been a very interesting. It's very new. I mean,
Have you looked at the Open Television Network mechanism for monetizing RSS feeds? Have you seen this? Has anybody seen ClickTab?